Thank you, James. The Oilers open the final homestand of the year with their third meeting in 10 days with the Pacific Division leading Anaheim Ducks tonight at Rexall. Mike Johnson's between the benches, and after a 3-game road swing, the Kid Line returns, reunited, and they ripped it up, Mike, on the road.
Did they ever? And I don't even call them even Kid Line anymore because they've been around for so long. It seems 3, 4, 5 years between them, but together when they are on their game, when they work hard enough away from the puck, they are magic with it. So in a year where it has been mostly disappointing and not a lot of bright spots for the Edmonton Oilers and their fans, to see the potential of what can happen when these three guys are on their game against some of the better teams in the West, you have to take a positive about that.
16 points in the 3 games on the road, and as James mentioned, 7 of the last 8 Edmonton Oilers goals scored by that combination of Nugent Hopkins, Hall, and Eberle, who start the game up against the big 2 of the Ducks, Ryan Getzlaf and Corey Perry, and they'll be flanked to start by Matt Bolesky. Here is Nugent Hopkins over the line, looking to test Jonas Hiller early. Nugent Hopkins off the side of the net in front, and then kept in at the point by Marincin. Well, we mentioned that the Ducks were focused on a quick start, but it's the Oilers that go to the attack first.
Ducks want a quick start, but they want it to be in control, not chase it and look for things that aren't there and open themselves up. Simpler is better right now for Anaheim early on.
Good defensive play there by the youngster, the rookie Hampus Lindholm, denying Eberle a chance to bust in. Now at center ice, there's the former Edmonton Oiler Andrew Cogliano, who lost it. Back in come the Oilers. It'll be Klefbom shooting it wide as he stepped in. Questionable starter for this game, Oscar Klefbom, who's been fighting a hand injury, but he gets an early opportunity against the team he scored his first NHL goal against, and he had to dump Silverberg at center ice, his countryman, and we may have seen signs that he's having problems with that hand, and it's in! Puck redirects into the net, and the Ducks have struck first on their opening shot of the game.
Tough start for Victor Fostas. Jakob Silverberg's gonna get credit for the goal. It's a crazy bounce on the way. Broken play, 2-on-1, almost a 2-on-2. Almost has a clean cut 2-on-1 there, and Silverberg goes down, drops the stick. Klefbom turns it over again. Silverberg back on side. A nice little pass here from Cogliano to get it over. And Schultz banks it in off Silverberg's body. Watch Schultz turn around here, slap at this puck, hits it up into the chest of Silverberg. And
I think it might have even gone off Sam Gagner
as well. And just caroms on in behind Victor Foss. Nothing he can do about that one.
So a good opening shift. The first time Anaheim comes down the ice, they get a bounce and they get the lead in a ring where they are 11-0-1 in their last 12 visits. Silverberg gets his 9th of the year. Ricard Raquel and Andrew Cogliano the assists on the goal at 1:20.
At number 67,
Here's Steve Pinizzotto playing his first game in Edmonton after joining the club for the last 2 games of the road trip. The former Oakville Blade and Vancouver Canuck just missed as he took a run at a duck deep in Anaheim territory. Now reaches in, gets it to Boyd Gordon. Into the far corner for Ryan Smith, a centering pass, and that deflects back out to center ice. Oilers in the midst of a change as Will Acton comes over the boards. Philip Larson will play on the right wing of the 4th line with Klefbom in the lineup as a defenseman tonight. Daniel Winnick can't clear it out. Larson looks for it. Boschman couldn't clear, and a shot right on. Turned aside by Jonas Hiller, who did not survive the first period of his last game, giving up 4 on 9 shots at home against Nashville.
Tough start for Sam Gagner and the Edmonton Oilers. To get a better look at it here. Cogliano drops it over. Silverberg handles it, pops it in the air, and Schultz hits at it, and it actually gets up right into the midsection of Sam Gagner, and then dribbles slowly across the goal line. But it really is the turnover outside the blue line by Klefbom. You know you're under pressure. You're in a bad spot just outside your own blue line. You cannot give that puck up the way he did.
40th point of the year for Cogliano, who gets a helper on the goal. That's his second 40-point season. Career high 21 goals for the former Oiler, who's had a terrific year in Anaheim. Jeff Petrie back in his own zone, just sidestepped a big hit from Daniel Winnick. It'll be spun in by Devontae Smith-Pelly, and that took a strange hop, and now Bonito firing it off a skate. Eberle trying to clear it. It'll be kept in at the line, and there is Winnick up with it. feeds the point. Lindholm a shot, and that's deflected. Fost a save. Corey Perry sends it in front, and Fost will hold on. Tonight's game plan brought to you by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of the NHL.
The Ducks need a better start by playing a little bit more in control. They've been down 4, 2, and 3 in their last 3 games before they even got going. So a little more in control, a little more patience, let the game come to them. The Edmonton Oilers, they get a chance in a physical battle. Anaheim's a big, strong team like so many of the teams are in the West, and Oilers have to match up with that.
The Oilers invade Anaheim ice, and after it goes Pinizzotto, got a piece of his man, created the turnover. Ryan Smith unable to get a shot through. Getzlaf an outlet for Bolesky on the right side. Perry in flight. Corey Perry with his second 40-plus goal season. And along with Getzlaf, they are the leading scoring duo, even strength goals in the National Hockey League. Pinizzotto long-range shot, and Miller turns that aside. Sammy Botman's back in the lineup for a very deep Anaheim team. Bruce Boudreau's had the luxury of resting players. Tonight, no Saku Koivu or Teemu Selanne expected to be back in the lineup tomorrow in Vancouver. Here's Silfverberg to the attack, and a shot gloved by Fost off the stick of Andrew Cogliano.
And Andrew Cogliano back against his former team, the Edmonton Oilers, having a terrific season, 20-plus goals, and he pushes Fraser and Belloff back, and now all of a sudden they have no gap whatsoever. They can only back up. A little better communication where one guy's going to Flyer Cogliano, one guy's staying up a little bit better to challenge Silfverberg, so you don't give up your line so easily.
Raquel got waved, but Cogliano wins the face-off. It'll be stunned in by Stefan Robidas, paired with Francois Beauchemin, who scored the game-winning goal late in the third period in Anaheim. Cogliano in front, and Fost got a glove on that as he was down, and Cogliano's had a good start to this game. Now a pass back to the point, but it's out of the reach of Beauchemin, and the Ducks will have to go back to retrieve.
Well, former team, point early on, and the good ice in Edmonton means good things for Cogliano.
Here's Raquel getting it back to Cogliano. Silfverberg right down the middle, unable to reach that pass, but it comes back to Cogliano as the puck is finding him in the opening period. Jeff Petrie with Silfverberg on his tail gets it ahead for Perron, and Perron is out. 5 assists in the season series against Anaheim for number 57, who dumps it in and gets a change for Edmonton. Hendricks with a hit. Acton unable to hold the zone, and now down the ice. Kyle Palmieri after it. Bruce Boudreau mentioned to us before the game he was eager to watch 21 today because he feels like he's been skating very well and has been on top of his game. There's a long shoot in that hit Petrie and rolled to the side of the net where it is covered by Fost.
Showed Cogliano, he's got an assist already. Should have had a goal right here. Watch Sam Gagner get cut watching the puck as Cogliano jumps in behind them. Tight angle and just can't quite find it, but Gagner's got to be more aware, and he goes, oh, what a save by Fost. Gets the cup of his glove on it as he was down and out. In desperation, keep one out of the net, takes one away from Cogliano.
Of course, Fost acquired from Anaheim. He was 15-6 there, and a little disappointed with that goal by Beauchemin to win it. Thought he should have had the game winner when the Oilers opened the trip in Anaheim with a loss. Here's a chance in front. Devontae Smith-Pelly, and now back to the point. Lovejoy's shot doesn't go through, and the Oilers finally get it. Then out comes Nugent Hopkins down the ice with some room, and that shot off Lindholm's stick wide of the net. On the far side, Winnick will battle for it. Lovejoy pins his man along the boards. And Schultz continues to move the puck, and Lovejoy as well.
Scraping the boards there.
Good speed work there, and now the puck does come free for the Oilers. It's Taylor Hall with it. He'll fire it back to Schultz, trying to get it through. And now Eberle in front, and a big stop by Hiller off Ryan Nugent Hopkins, who's a little slow to get up after getting beasted in front of the net. Nugent Hopkins slowly working his way back to the bench as play is halted. Close call with Nugent Hopkins robbed in front of Jonas Hiller.
And this is life with this big line with Edmonton. They give it away behind the own net. They're irresponsible in their own end. They give up a great chance. to Smith Pelly, but what happens when they get the puck the other way? They can make magic happen, and Nugent Hopkins almost gets a beautiful goal through a passing play, and that's how it is right now. With the puck, they're great. With the puck, still very much a work in progress.
After the timeout, Dallas Eakins goes right back to Nugent Hopkins, Hall, and Eberle. We have the puck in the Anaheim zone. Bolesky turns, and an outlet that does not connect to Ryan Getzlaf. What a good Getzlaf's had. Number 2 in the league in scoring with 84 points. Here's Nugent Hopkins to work. A left wing pass for Hall, but Eberle was a half step ahead of the play offside.
And Ryan Getzlaf back to where he belongs as one of the elite offensive centermen in the NHL. And when he moves his feet, you combine that kind of size and that kind of skill, he's just so tough to handle because not only is he a better skater than you might think, he's got the strength and the reach that makes him almost impossible to cover down low. When you factor in the goal scoring ability of Corey Perry, you can see why he is where he is in the stats.
Getzlaf did not have a point against Nashville. He has not gone more than 2 games consecutively without a point all season.
That is
has
so
not
impressive.
gone, and hasn't gone back-to-back without a point at all in 2014. So the consistency has been remarkable this year for big number 15. There's Lander working ahead. He'll flick it in. Perron in pursuit of the puck. See how long Anton Lander stays up on the second line in this game. He was moved down to the 4th line, and Matt Hendricks moved up at times during the road trip as Gagne tried to barge through, and the puck leaks down into Hiller.
We talked about Anton Lander, how long he can stay on that number 1 line. They recognize in Oklahoma City he is an offensive player. He quarterbacks their power play. He puts up points, so they don't want to bring him up to Edmonton and play him on the 4th line in 8 minutes and not give him a chance to succeed. But when you play with an offensive line, you're with Perron, you're with Gagne in the second line, you have to get something going. And if you don't, you only get so many chances before you get yanked off that line.
Klefbom again looked like he had a little trouble handling the puck at the line. It's sent down on goal, and Hiller has to play it. Botten and outlets on the right side. There's Palmieri up the boards, but it'll be kept in. No, it won't be. It got by Klefbom again. He really looks like he's fighting it. As Matthew Perreault's into the zone, a pass, and Palmieri tied up as there was good back checking on that play. That was Pinizzato getting back into his own zone. Now 4 Oilers invade Anaheim ice, and Boyd Gordon flipping it in front, and that one Schultz unable to redirect as he hopped into the rush. Now Corey Perry, and Marincin meets him there. Perry nearly got loose, and Schultz comes back to help out. Here's Justin Schultz into the zone, and that's off Moschmidt and up onto the netting.
Oscar Klefbom was a game-time decision. He's got a bruised left hand, his lower hand on his stick, and the question was whether he would be able to deal with the pain and handle the puck, and you mentioned it several times. Of course, as soon as you have a sore hand, you get the puck a whole bunch in the first 10 minutes, and he's fought it. Puck's bouncing over his stick, misreads, turnover on the goal against. So,
in fairness, no puck luck when the puck's bouncing like that for him.
See that puck bouncing though, you get your skates up against the boards and don't let it skip over your stick.
Nice pass there, backdoor, and a chance for Hendricks. Bolesky gets on it, flipped it ahead, and Getzlaf there to make sure it gets out for the Ducks. To an open wing. And there's Petrie. This pair for the Oilers, -7 on the trip, and that got some attention from the fans here in Edmonton. And Dallas Eakins and Steve Smith both in defense of the young defensive pair of Marincin and Petrie. Plus-minus was a little deceiving in that category. A hot pass by Perry. Too hot to handle for Bolesky, who has it now in the corner. Here's the former Belleville Bull, Bolesky back to the point. Lindholm's shot is wide of the target. Perry tries to come out in front. He had a pair of goals in that comeback win over the Oilers in Anaheim to hit the 40-goal plateau once again. Up to Hall on the left wing. Bolesky watching him. Perry bumps into Hall from behind. And the puck slides inside the Anaheim zone. Approaching the midway mark of this opening period. Got 6-3 Anaheim, and they have the lone goal, the one that baked in off Sam Gagne, credited to Jakob Silfverberg. Taylor Hall's got it. Hooks the pass to Nugent Hopkins. Takes a bump just inside the line. And the Ducks send it back out. Left bomb retreats. Winnick in slipstream up on the right side, and now these Oilers go to the attack as Gagne spins it in. Smith-Pelly in his own zone. Around the boards for Bonino, and the Oilers quickly close on him and turn it over. It'll be Perron with it. David Perron up against Botman. And the Ducks move it ahead to Daniel Winnick. He was the talk of all the hockey pools last year, Winnick, when he scored 4 goals in the first 2 games. He has just 5 all this season. Here's Cogliano wheeling it again. Andrew Cogliano tries to center. That is blocked, and the Oilers will counter. Landers out along with Gagne, and on the right side, Perron. Chipping it in, Gagne in on the forecheck. Trying to tie up his man Robidas, and he got a hand on him. And the first penalty of the game pending against Edmonton. So out of the net goes Hillard to the bench for an extra attacker. Ducks will get it organized. And Ryan Smith got a stick on it. They don't call it. Now the Ducks to the attack. Here's Cogliano back in. He'll hand it off to Perry. Swung the pass to Getzlaf. He'll play it over to the far side, and there's Stefan Robidas, the former Dallas Star. It'll be Cogliano to Getzlaf as they extend this power play advantage. Right now, 6 on 5. Robidas, Getzlaf, back across Cogliano. Robidas in the middle, his shot, and that got through. And now from a bad angle, it's Cogliano holding, feeding back to the point. This is almost a full minute of extended man advantage time for Anaheim, but Getzlaf can't handle that pass, and now in retreat with Ryan Smith tying him up. A pass for Perry, back in. Petrie stands up on him, slides through to Silverberg, and finally the Oilers touch the puck over a minute after the call was about to be made by Mark Jeanette against Sam Gagne. So Ryan Getzlaf and the Ducks will have the power play. They have the lead when we come back to Edmonton.
Ryan gets up.
Say that again, Getsy?
Perry tonight.
Going to play him a lot and hope the center gets him the puck.
That sounds like a good plan.
It's great to be serious before the game, isn't it?
Loose punch at the morning skate.
And when you're second in the league in scoring, you can have a little fun walking off the ice, saying, what are you going to do with my line mate, Corey Perry? But that's one thing Bruce Boudreau has done in Washington. He's done it again here in Anaheim, is that he gets the most out of the majority of his roster during the regular season. He empowers them. He frees them up to play creatively and offensively, and the results speak for themselves.
He'd like to have an answer for this power play that has struggled. Corey Perry walking in, and he backhands it wide of the net. Puck loose at the side of the goal, and the Oilers sweep it out. Well, they came close to getting their first power play goal against Edmonton this year. They're 0-17. They have the exact same power play totals as the Oilers for the entire season. They're tied for 21st with Edmonton at 16.5%. You'd expect it would be better with the guys they can put out there. There's a turnover, and now Will Acton may have a break. Couldn't take that bank pass off the boards, and there's the interviewer, Ryan Getzlaf, back to start the rush. A hit on Maroon by Schultz. It'll be sent around to the near side. Boyd Gordon up against Perreault, loose for Getzlaf. Swings it for Perreault, who has been hot of late. Couldn't take that pass, and the Oilers clear. There's the young defenseman Lindholm starting the rush with 40 seconds remaining in the power play. It'll be sent in by Robidas. There's Marincin after it for Edmonton. Ducks swarm in that corner and unable to come up with a puck as Marincin stuck with it and clears it.
Robidas got chasing Will Acton across the ice, almost under the bench there, having some words for him.
Acton was in a dust-up with Bolesky in Anaheim, and Matt Hendricks took note of that discussion. As he comes out, there's Hendricks now. Bolesky after him, but Hendricks is going to skate it out. That should do it for the Anaheim power play as Hendricks takes it in deep and Gagne returns to the ice. Just one shot on that first power play of the night for Anaheim.
One shot, but it was basically a breakaway to Corey Perry. A good chance, if the only one.
Here's Hall with an outlet. Nugent Hopkins ahead, and away goes Eberle. He had 6 points on the 3-game road trip, but so did his line mate Taylor Hall. Puck's in the corner. Centering pass by Schultz is denied as Francois Beauchemin prevented that. It'll come back to Klefbom, and he'll send it in front. Knocked away again by Beauchemin. And a chance for Silverberg to get it out to Raquel, and there was Cogliano streaking down the left side, but the pass doesn't click. Guess it's nothing new, but you can tell Cogliano's skating well tonight, can't you?
Yeah, he is buzzing. He does that most of his games. He's done that most of this year, as he is one of the better skaters in the NHL. And his biggest challenge has been finding the right way to apply that speed within the game context.
Here's a chance, Ryan Smith driving to the net in front, and Hiller comes across and makes a big pad stop. Good anticipation by Jonas Hiller, who looked sharp there. He has struggled of late, but pretty nice bit of goaltending there on Ryan Smith.
Puck is so close to Jonas Hiller's pad, Ryan Smith can't do anything but bunt it into it. He can't get it up and over, but Anaheim Ducks get caught in a controlled forecheck right from behind the Oilers net. And 3 forwards beat just like that. And that is way too easy as it's Winnick on the back check who loses his man. And Smith, this is a good opportunity backdoor.
Well, a big start for Jonas Hiller. Even Bruce Boudreau was anxious to see how he'd do tonight after being pulled in his last game. 6-8-3 since winning 14 consecutive games. And with Frederik Andersen out after taking a shot off the mask from Shea Weber, there's John Gibson called up. Maybe the brightest goaltending prospect.
Not in the NHL
Not in
right
the
now.
NHL, right?
And they already traded Victor Foss. Goaltending depth has been an area, well, the entire organizational prospect pool is deep here in Anaheim.
Here's Perron back in, and that shot tests Hiller, who makes the stop. Bonino off the boards and out at center ice. You're right, this team's so deep that Boudreau feels like he has 17 forwards that are going to be available for him in the playoffs if everybody's healthy. That he is confident he can go with. We've got a little platoon system going right now, and here's Bolesky trying to dance in. He's got Perry in front. Couldn't get in the pass quick enough, and it comes back to Bolesky. Matt Bolesky up high into the high slot. Good shot deflected by Getzlaf wide of the net. Oilers trying to get it out against this top line. Perry chopped at it, but now it's rolled ahead. And Perry comes right back in. Unable to bust through against Belod and Marincin, who are out there together right now. Philip Larson turned back in his own zone. Marincin off his feet. Perreault will hold the zone. And now knocked away from him. And a little ragged play as the Oilers try and get control and get things organized. Perreault disrupting again. Marincin an outlet, and now Hall up ahead to Nugent Hopkins. And it was Larson trapped offside that time. Big stop here by Hiller off Ryan Smith. Still 1-0 Ducks.
Another one of the underrated players for the Anaheim Ducks is Ben Lovejoy. He goes hard in the boards here with Jordan Eberle. He gets his head squished in against the dasher, and he gets up, and he's leaking a little bit right around his eye. So he wants an explanation as to what happened, why there's no call. So he calmly goes over, commercial break. Kevin Pollock, they have a discussion. Nobody screaming, nobody yelling. Come to an understanding, just the way you'd expect a graduate of Dartmouth to handle things.
Boy, he's been terrific for Anaheim. He was the number 8 defenseman in Pittsburgh when the Penguins dealt him, and now he's a mainstay in the top group paired usually with Cam Fowler. Fowler expected to return before the season's out, maybe even for a big game against San Jose on Wednesday. Here's Raquel spinning in against Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, turning off the check and now dumping it into the far corner where Silverberg picks up the chase. Jakob Silverberg, who has the goal for Anaheim in this game, on the forecheck as it's banked past Lovejoy and out to center. Pass on the left side, redirected in by Cogliano. There is Raquel on the forecheck. Silverberg's on it. Just over 2 minutes remaining in this first period.
Off the bench!
Taken away by Hall, but not cleared, and the shot by Robidas is off fast and out of play. The NHL on TSN is brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads. Face off to the left to Victor Fost. Won by Boyd Gordon. Over 56% this season for the Oilers. Number one in the face-off circle for Edmonton. Dashing in there was Pinizzato. Now Winnick from his knees, able to clear it past Lander and down the ice, and no icing. As Klefbom strides back, Fost dishes it off. That pass intercepted by Bonino, but the Oilers get it out. Bonino played it back in, but couldn't pursue the puck till Winnick cleared the zone. Edmonton advancing as Lander backhands it in, and that was knocked down the front there by Boschman, and a delayed call, a penalty upcoming against Anaheim.
It's going to be Robidas. Go for the hold on Anton Lander.
19 Anaheim, 2 minutes hooking.
Robidas, who had missed so much time with that broken leg, traded to Anaheim, trying to find his game, his timing, his fitness, and he gets caught trying to play forward, reaching with the open hand, wrapping up Lander and taking a penalty. And he gets so much respect within his team and around the league because of the warrior that he has been. But he is still trying to find his game after that long layoff, and they need him to get a little bit sharper heading to the playoffs.
Well, we mentioned they came in with identical numbers on the power play. Both teams were 43 power play goals in 260 attempts. Anaheim missed on their first. Let's see if the Oilers can connect with theirs. Looking for the equalizer as Eberle plays it back to Schultz on the far side. Nugent Hopkins down low. There's Taylor Hall. Ryan Smith's in front of the net. The shot blocked by Winnick. Schultz gets it back. Nugent Hopkins fires it. That doesn't get through. And a pile up in front. The puck squirts to Hall. Back to Schultz, who walks the line. Now gives it to Eberle. Dancing in, and he shot it high. In behind the net, Lovejoy off the glass. It'll get to the line, but not out. Held in by Schultz. Played deep by Eberle. Wrapped around from Smith to Ryan Nugent Hopkins. Around the horn to Hall. He'll hold on. Now in low. They try and center it for Smith. That doesn't work. Ryan Smith, as everybody in Edmonton knows, needs one more for the all-time Oiler power play goal-scoring mark. And that pass by Hall comes out, and they're running out of time here in the opening period. Last call in the period as Eberle's pass hits the skate, and that should just about do it as the clock drains in the first period. Anaheim with 9 shots, Edmonton was 7, and Jakub Silverberg with the lone goal. 1-0 after 1 in Edmonton. Let's join James Duthie. James, we mentioned no Saku Koivu or Teemu Selanne tonight. Between them, they combined for 40 years of NHL experience. Their combined age 82, but the young guys replacing them, Mike, have been all right so far tonight.
They have been very good, and Bruce Boudreau's happy to have his youthful legs into his lineup, and all of a sudden that revamped second line, third line, whatever you want to call it, of Cogliano, Raquel, and Silverberg has been very effective, and something very interesting to watch down the stretch and on into the playoffs as Bruce Boudreau really likes what Ricard Raquel brings in that center spot. Doesn't have the experience and the games under his belt that Saku Koivu does, but he is a little younger and he is a little quicker, and he showed all of that in that first period, creating several good chances, some turnovers, and being very responsible in his own end. So as the Ducks get into the playoffs, as they roll along through those tough series, to have an option of another young centerman that they can put in there that they trust to play in tough situations against tough opponents is a luxury Bruce Boudreau like to have.
Cogliano starts at a penalty-killing role here in the second period. As the clock ticks down to 35 seconds of power play time remaining. And the penalty to Robidas, sent across to Ryan Smith off his stick. He'll hand it off, and now played back to Justin Schultz. To the far side, Eberle returns it. Now a pass that finds Smith behind the net. Oilers playing on the outside so far. Haven't been able to direct the shot towards the net with a dozen seconds to go. Schultz fires. That's off target. Ryan Smith looked for the rebound. Boschman cut him off, and now Cogliano and Silverberg are out, and they'll get it down the ice to kill the rest of the penalty. Robidoux back out. Taylor Hall stepping through center. A pass off a duck stick, and Perron will give chase. Up against Sami Vatanen. And David Perron from the corner. Centering pass was broken up by Getzlaf. Now Bolesky trying to get loose on the left wing. Chopped off his stick and into the Duck bench.
So another power play opportunity goes by the wayside as Ryan Getzlaf. We talk about his skill and his hands and his patience. But when he gets going, he's got a bit of a dirty, mean streak in him as well. Stronger you think as he squeezes off Taylor Hall. A couple big bodies going at it right there. And that's when Ryan Getzlaf is at his best, when he is playing a little more physically and a little harder as he watches his line mate, Pat Bolesky and Pinizzotto exchange some words right in front of the bench. And it's really important. Pinizzotto said, let's go. He wants to go right now.
Yep, this won't last long, although Bolesky took a little tap at him and then skated away. So
Bolesky's thinking, I'm with the number one line right now. He's on the ice.
There's Perry sweeping it in front of the net. Getzlaf looked for the rebound, and up with it, Boyd Gordon. Yeah, Bolesky's not the kind of guy to turn down the invitations, but you're right, that's probably the reason. But often get a chance to play with the big boys. And now the gloves do come off, and maybe Pinizzotto didn't give him a choice. Oh, and Pinizzotto got a big shot in there in his first home game as an Edmonton Oiler. That's one of the reasons the Vancouver Canucks were high on him last year in the preseason. He was hurt in the final preseason game and ended up only playing a dozen games with Vancouver, but Pinizzotto's made his presence felt here tonight and got the attention of all of the Ducks.
He did. Matt Bolesky, not necessarily a big-time fighter by any stretch, but Pinizzotto had his way with him in that fight, and it started a little tap in the back. And Pinizzotto very clear saying, let's just go. He wants to go right off the face-off there. Bolesky wants to play a little bit more. And then eventually they get all the way to the offensive zone, and here comes the one right there. Sneaky uppercut, and he catches him on the button. And a victory for Pinizzotto, but you know what? Good for Matt Bolesky to hang in there, and now the chattering cliche between the benches as Francois Boschman doesn't like the celebration on the Edmonton bench.
Bruce Boudreau looking for maybe the instigator, but they are assessed 5 minutes each.
And there's no gentle taps after that fight. The conversation continues. And if you're Matt Bolesky, you're saying something like this. Hey, Steve, how many games have you played again this year?
It's a pretty good debate going on.
Yeah.
They're up back on their feet again.
Well, it's good to see Bolesky's okay, though, because he took a couple hard shots. It looked like he might have been a little wobbly. You see the shiner already filling in on his left eye.
We'll see how that changes the tone of the evening.
Yeah, well, it's getting a little hotter down here between the benches. As the debate class has spilled over to the bench side.
Taking a long time for the officials to
he feels it,
get
look
the
at
ball
that.
directed.
He knows his eye is starting to bubble up. And you know, we're joking about him being on that first line. You don't want to miss any time or the rest of this game or a chance to play with Getzlaf and Perry heading to the playoffs because the injury causing a fight.
Face-off win by Gagne. It's played to Perron along the right wing boards. He's tracked there by Raquel. Sent it into the slot area, and Cogliano starts back. He got dumped in. There'll be a penalty against the Oilers. And it's David Perron quickly to the box, and the Ducks get their second power play of the night.
The quick feet of Cogliano help him out again. Couple quick strides pulling away, and Perron sweeps at the puck, but that's a lazy reach right there. He's got to move his feet on his way down. Cogliano steps on the shaft of the stick, and down he goes. Easy call, and any energy in the building from the fight is now out of it as the Oilers go to the penalty kill.
Matthew Perreault to take this face-off for Anaheim against Will Acton. The Oilers center prevails, wrapped around the boards. It'll go past Vatanen down the ice. Getzlaf mans the right point. Vatanen out there along with Perry. Patrick Maroon and Matthew Perreault, who had a 9-game point streak snapped by the Oilers in their last meeting, but points in 10 of his last 11 games. Perry will flip it in and barge in after it. Petrie double team. He gets hit behind the net, and the Ducks come up with the puck. Perreault to Vatanen across out of the reach of Getzlaf. Now he moves it in. A centering pass, and Maroon setting up, and now Maroon a backhand that's knocked down in front. Oilers trying to clear but can't get it out. Ducks with a couple of grade A opportunities. It's Perreault sending it toward the net. There's big Patrick Maroon. The St. Louis native swings it to the far side, but the net knocked off as Corey Perry is in his usual spot, causing trouble.
And all kinds of chances. And you look at a bit of a disconnect here because the Ducks are first in the league in goals, yet 21st in the power play. And as you see, no team ever has led league in goal scoring and not been in the top 20 in the power play, and yet the Ducks are poised to do that in the last week of their season. And not for lack of opportunities on this power play. Corey Perry, as he always is, hanging around the front of the net.
5 of their last 45 as they win a face-off, and Matthew Perreault will set things up, firing it across. Vatanen shot, and that missed the target. And we're into the second minute of the Perron minor penalty. Ryan Getzlaf, his first 30-goal season, sends it on to the right side. Palmieri tried to cut in there, and Fast will cover up.
And Dallas Aikens trying to find a way to improve the systems play of the Edmonton Oilers. And watch this 1-1-2, and that's Will Acton. He's getting waved across from Matt Hendricks. Usually there is a handoff there from forward to forward, but the Oilers want that low forward to hang in the center of the ice and have the top forward chase across the umbrella and pressure down.
Bonino prevails on that face-off, and now he's got it. Lindholm returns it to Nick Bonino. A shot through traffic that Foss catches off the oil drop, and we'll have another face-off in the Edmonton zone.
And that's exactly what you will give up if you play that system. You'll give up shots from the tops of the face-off circles. You'll stack the middle. The attack will not come from the center of the ice, which is good.
Bonino won that face-off shot right on. Rebound was loose. Bonino couldn't find it. And now a chance for Gordon to get it out, and he does. Hendricks racing after it. Lindholm charging back. And out to play it was Hiller. Boy, Hampus Lindholm looks like a seasoned veteran already, doesn't he?
He's so smooth out there with his decision-making. That's what's really most impressive.
Jeff Petrie took a hit. He's been shaken up.
He got tangled up with Smith-Pelly in the corner, and
Devontae Smith-Pelly is a load.
is he ever. He is a big boy, 230 or so pounds. And Petrie slow to get up. Smith-Pelly just called up to come in the lineup here as see them tangle up, and it's the stick gets up into Petrie's face on the follow through. A little blood in the chin, and right here, watch Smith-Pelly stick wrap around right there and catch Petrie, and a missed one by the referees.
Yeah, Petrie did a good job of warding off the hit, but took the high stick. 1 second left in the Perron penalty. Ducks have generated 4 shots on Foss, but are in danger of going 0 for 2. 5 of their last 46 now on the power play as Perron steps out and the puck finds him. Lindholm comes back. Doesn't hurt the development of Hampus Lindholm that they have a special defensive coach in Anaheim by the name of Niedermeyer.
Being able to pick his brain, he can take anything off a guy like that. That's an asset. Although sometimes it's hard for those star players to translate their skills.
Look at Cogliano shift gears, dancing in. Now puts on the brakes, look for Raquel, the trailer, and a good back check there by Eberle. And now he goes to the attack, along with Nugent Hopkins. Hall was loose for a moment in front. Nugent Hopkins unable to move the puck. Now he gets tied up, and a little pushback on Robidas, who has been under the skin of a lot of Oilers tonight. Robidoux continues to have words with the Oilers and icing Colin. We've got an update, so let's check in with James. Here 1-0 for Anaheim, an early goal at the 82nd mark of the game. Gagne wins the draw, Perron the shot, rebound, and another stop by Hiller. Back-to-back saves and a delayed penalty. Ducks are going to be shorthanded. It's a holding call, so the Edmonton Oilers, fresh off a kill, are going to have the man advantage as Ben Lovejoy gets the gate.
Rickard Rakell in there. He wants to go on his forehand, pull it. Doesn't like the way that sets up. All of a sudden he wants to lean on his backhands. He decides to switch midstream. That's usually not a good thing. And right off that, Perron sweeps it, takes that loose puck, and eventually Ben Lovejoy is called for the penalty, all because of lost draw from the icing.
Gagne on the draw, and Larson mans a point along with Marincin. That pass does reach Gagne, back to Philip Larson. Marincin looking for his first NHL goal. Takes a long look, sends it across, and off Robidaux's stick up into the seats.
And Marincin's handling the puck, and that's who the Anaheim Ducks want with the puck. They don't want Gagne or Perron with it. They'll let Marincin handle it on the half wall. Anton Lander in front of the net. If you're going to hang out in front of the net, though, you got to be an option. You got to work for space, but also present a target as an option to get the puck to stick on the ice like you want it down there.
Oilers control the face-off again. There's David Perron. Sort of a three-way tie for the goal-scoring lead in Edmonton. Along with Eberle and Hall. Hall at 26. Who breaks the tie? A pass in front. Lander was lurking at the lip of the crease. There's Marincin along the boards. Lander upended. Now he gets into the fray as Bolshevin tries to tie it up. It's dug out of there by Anton Lander. Back to Marincin, who couldn't handle it, and Bonino will clear. So that's the first half of the power play, and now the A unit will come on with Nugent Hopkins, Ryan Smith, Braun still on the ice as Hiller high up off the glass, knocked down. Oilers battle for it, but Silverberg clears. And now they'll complete the change as Hall and Eberle join the first group for the final 40 seconds of power play time. Here's Eberle in. Banks it to the far side. Smith will play it back around. Eberle guides it, but it went past Nugent Hopkins to Schultz. Now 93's got it. Hall in front, scores! Taylor Hall, his 27th, and the Oilers have tied it.
Taylor Hall with one from a tight angle, but we talked about Anton Lander not presenting a target. Watch Ryan Smith work in front of the net, and Jonas Hiller knows on the back door, and he starts cheating that back door, and that's why his 5-hole is open. He's aware of Smith sliding the back door, looking for his blade there, and you see him coming off the post, and that's bad form from Hiller as Hall wraps it through the 5-hole for his 27th. And Jonas Hiller, who is under a little bit of heat here in Anaheim, trying to secure his #1 job, and here goes Maroon and Hendricks right off the draw.
Yeah, Hendricks had a pair of bouts the last time these two teams played here. And Maroon trying to answer back after the win by Pinizzato. Hendricks giving up a big size differential. Maroon 230 pounds, but Hendricks always game. Heating up here in Edmonton between these two Pacific Division teams. And a tying goal from Taylor Hall, his 27th of the year, to take the Oilers team lead.
And a second spirited tilt of this second period, this time between Matt Hendricks, Pat Maroon, right up the opening faceoff. Mark Fraser thinks he wants to get in there, but it was Hendricks and Maroon, and it went for a while until at the very end. Hendricks showing some good leverage as he is the shorter and lighter man, stays his balance here and eventually puts Maroon onto his back. And you tell you what, for a game that doesn't mean much, certainly to the Edmonton Oilers in the standings, and these guys aren't natural rivals, it's pretty spirited.
Well, this is the type of team they have to learn to compete against, and everybody talks about playing the big clubs like Anaheim, and San Jose, and Los Angeles, big, strong teams, and the Oilers stepping up tonight.
Generally, you don't think of the fighting when you think of those teams. It's the forecheck and the size and physical play of them, but certainly fighting, hanging in there is an element of it.
So, major penalties to those two. Here's a pass across. Palmieri had to wait for it. Slow roller, and Belov got a stick on it. Now a shot wide. Beauchemin steps up. Sure, Francois Beauchemin has taken note of the latest developments.
He absolutely has, and he's going to...
Here's a pass in front, and that shot doesn't get through as Perreault has it blocked.
Beauchemin does have the scowl on right now, though.
Now back to the point. That shot. Sure, Foss saw it and it went wide, and we've got a penalty coming up. And who's it going to be against?
Palmieri.
I thought it was going against the Oilers, but it is Palmieri that is going off, and Edmonton's going to get another power play.
Just tied the game up on a power play goal from Taylor Hall.
Minor penalty for holding the stick.
And there you hear it, holding the stick. Mark Joannette makes the call. Palmieri doesn't like it. Fouling in front, and right there, clamps onto the stick with his left hand. Absolutely, Mark Fraser can't get the puck quickly enough right in front of the referee. An easy call to make.
So back out on the power play after Taylor Hall scored his 7th power play goal of the year. Another face-off win. Oilers have been good on offensive zone face-offs here in the second period. Schultz hands it off, rink wide, Nugent Hopkins, and the rebound bunted by Hall. He's taken down by Brian Allen, and play is stopped. Pretty good cross-check there by Allen on Taylor Hall at the side of the net.
Yeah, both on Hall and on Smith in front of the net. Allen and Lovejoy clearing him out of there. And see Hall on one side, there's Smith knocking the net off. There's Allen on the other side. You're right, Allen got him pretty hard, and Ryan Smith, you know, everybody in the crowd on the bench wants to find a way to get Ryan Smith a power play goal. It's been several weeks now. He's been tied with Glenn Anderson for first in franchise history with 126 power play goals. And
another face-off win. Mark Joannette went over to Brian Allen and may have told him, you got one free one, but you don't
lucky.
get another.
That's it.
Hall. Back to Nugent Hopkins. Backdoor is Smith. Back to the point. Schultz. Nugent Hopkins. Allen got a stick on that. Eberle tried to work it back, and the pass will slide outside the line. They'll have to reboot 8 minutes into the second period. 1:15 to go in the power play as the Oilers look for the go-ahead goal. Schultz across. Return to Justin Schultz, and now a pass for Eberle behind him. Ryan Smith in after it. They get it to Nugent Hopkins in the corner. He improves his angle and now gets it back to Schultz. There's Eberle. He'll fire, and it's blocked by Lovejoy. Ties him up, gets left after it, played it to Allen, off the glass, and it will come out. And nearly a break, Silfverberg dumped, and that will do it for the Oiler power play, as Jakob Silfverberg was tripped at center, and the Oilers will be penalized.
Justin Schultz is such a good offensive defenseman, very good with the puck.
In 2 minutes,
He thinks the game in offensive terms, but sometimes you have to appreciate where you are and where everybody else is. He's the last man back. You cannot try to hang in on the point with the puck coming around the dashboard, hoping that you'll knock it down. And if you miss it, the other team gets a breakaway. And that's just what happens. He's forced to trip Silfverberg to prevent the scoring chance. Sometimes you have to just back off, reset in the neutral zone, and take the percentage play.
One of the reasons the Oilers have surrendered 13 shorthanded goals against this year.
You got 4 forwards and Justin Schultz at the point. You're going to give up some shorthanded chances.
So 4 skaters aside for about 40 seconds here. David Perron's on the ice, along with Gagne. Cogliano to the attack with Bonino, and a quick shot by Cogliano kicked out. Back the other way comes Gagne with Larson jumping up. Here's Philip Larson trying to curl away from Robidas. Robidas sticking with him. As Larson back and forth now will defer to Perron. David Perron spots Gagne. Little dangle from Gagne past his old teammate Cogliano. And now Perron, Larson moved in and now he'll backtrack. Perron out of the corner. The shot scores! David Perron, a short-handed goal as the Ducks had just returned to full strength. Perron has his 27th of the year.
The race is on as David Perron gets another one. This is so well done, though. This is good 4-on-4 hockey. Not throwing it away, taking your time, protecting the puck, utilizing the space, exchanging forward and defenseman, and then eventually wearing down the defender. And it's Perron who shakes Boschman in the middle of the ice right here. Boschman picks along the boards, expecting a cycle. None forthcoming, and then another wrister through the 7-hole there of Hiller, and another shaky goal against Jonas Hiller.
Well, Mary had just stepped onto the ice, so it is a short-handed goal for the Oilers, their 4th of the year, and it's about a minute of power play time remaining for Anaheim. Now down by a goal. They led by one after one. Here's Bolesky into the zone. Into the corner, Raquel will get it for Corey Perry. Perry can't control a glove stop at the line. He's played by Getzlaf to hold the zone. Bolesky fires it across. There's Vatanen. Lander and Gordon, the penalty killers for Edmonton. As it comes back up top, Getzlaf for Perry. Relatively quiet night for those two. A shot right on. Puck is loose. Fost is down. And Vatanen moves up. Hits the puck and it comes outside the line. Now Getzlaf will regroup it with a dozen seconds of power play time left, and the big guy will move it in. Raquel is checked, gets it back again. Along the boards, it was knocked down by Petrie a second time. Unable to get it out as Getzlaf off the boards. Drops it off, and it'll be held in again by Raquel. Schultz is back onto the ice. The Oilers have returned to full strength. Bolesky turns, shot right on, a rebound sitting there, and the Oilers move it ahead. And now we're out. Scoop to the Anaheim line. Lovejoy will play it to Winnick. And Daniel Winnick drops off for Bonino, along with Smith Pelly. And the Oilers come back to disrupt that, but Anaheim regains possession. Lovejoy, 2 goals against Edmonton, a shot that got through right on to Foss. Taylor Hall in his own zone. Now it's sent around to the far side, and Lindholm steps up. Anaheim trying to press the issue now as they are down for the first time in the game. Nugent Hopkins in his own zone, works ahead to Eberle. Up for Hall. He'll survey, working back. And now the Oilers exit on the left side. It bounces in. Here's Hall to the attack in front of the net. And Bolesky was back to break that up. Now Raquel and Winnick over the line. They'll bounce it in, and a one-hopper into the glove of Fost, who took a little shot, but holds on as the Oilers have taken the lead on a goal by David Perron. And here, James, a couple of goals for the Oilers. First, a power play marker for Taylor Hall for number 27, and a short-handed goal for David Perron, his 27th.
What an addition he's been. You look at the top goal scorers for guys in their first year of the new team. Tyler Seguin's having a career year. Jerome McGinley's been unbelievable.
Centering pass for Perreault, and he was tied up by Perron, who gets the job done defensively.
And he's right where with him, and it's been a really good trade for Magnus Järvi.
Puck will be kept in. Brian Allen off the boards. It came right out in front. Oilers can't clear. Botanen's got it. Hacked at by Ryan Smith. Botanen tries to center. That one blocked. Now another centering pass, and Perreault can't do anything with it. Palmieri looks to center again, and this time Ryan Smith will get it out. Here's Smith over the line. His shot. That caught Hiller up high as he nearly got clipped in the mask. Perron takes a hit from Getzlaf. Getzlaf looks like he's got a brewer in his saddle now, trying to change the momentum of this game. A little soccer there from Palmieri to start the rush. over the line. Here's Getzlaf, and he's slowed up by Marincin, who stayed with him. Perry after it along the boards. Getzlaf trying to dig it out. And the Oilers move the puck. Petrie up ahead. Pinizzato couldn't control as Beauchemin closed down on him, and it's an icing call. House jacking in the Big Easy, ain't easy, but Jeremy Patterson and his ragtag team are lifting tons of spirits, one foundation at a time, on the season premiere of Jack tomorrow at 10 Eastern, only on Discovery. Victor Fast with 19 saves so far against his old team.
Hasn't been tested too much, especially here in the second period. Shots are 20-14 for Anaheim, but not too many tough ones for Victor Foss just yet. Pinizzato and Corey Perry now talking extensively on the draw. And Corey Perry certainly willing to do so, but
There's Bolesky in again.
they don't want Corey Perry off the ice, and here comes Pat Maroon.
And are they going to penalize Pinizzato?
Hendricks. No, it is going to be Pinizzato. Maroon comes right off the bench to talk to Pinizzato, which would be against the rule. Corey Perry smartly backing him off, because you can't just make a change to start an altercation. Perry's telling him get out of here.
During our last break, Matt Bolesky had to go back to the penalty box, not because he got a penalty. Remember that debate with Pinizzato?
Both 10-minute misconduct.
He had forgotten his mouthpiece and had to go back to fetch it.
The way the chatter is on the ice, he doesn't need the mouthpiece in. He wants it out to get the full range available to himself. And Pinizzato picked up a 10.
And Bolesky as well. Although Bolesky's still on the ice, and now he's going to make his way to the...
Yeah, Bolesky skated over that little shove after the faux drop, and Kevin Paul comes in pretty cleanly, pointing right at Pinizzato. And there goes Bolesky as well.
So now we're ready to resume action. And from the face-off, the puck splits the Duck defenseman, and Robidas back to get it. He's been paired for the most part since getting into the Anaheim lineup with Francois Beauchemin. Here's Will Acton, a shot, and that's blocked by Beauchemin, who leads the Ducks in that department. Long lead feed up ahead on the right flank for Perry. Perry swoops in behind the net, holds on. Now he'll give it off, and a shot by Robidas right on. That's the first shot on goal by Robidas in this game. Maroon into the corner, up against Fraser, lost his helmet. Getzlaf spilled on the play. That got a reaction from the crowd. Beauchemin steps up on Acton, and the puck slides out to center. Now Maroon gets bumped, and the gloves are going to come off again. It's Mark Fraser, and Patrick Maroon in his second tilt of the night. And this one won't be any easier.
Getzlaf not happy at the other side of the ice with the hit he took from Boyd Gordon when he got dumped behind the goal line earlier.
So third fight for Maroon against the Oilers in 2 visits to Rexall.
He's tired, a little bit late in the shift there too.
And they'll get the oxygen tank into the penalty box for Patrick Maroon after 2 tilts here in the second period. Of an era tonight in Edmonton as cameraman Bruce Becker, our buddy, 40-year veteran of the business and one of the best in the business, working his final NHL game. What a career he's had, covering Stanley Cup finals, 5 Olympic Games, Grey Cups, and many other prominent sporting events. And there's Sean Dunham and Mike Carroll, 2 of his compatriots, presenting him with a little souvenir of the number of games he's worked in the National Hockey League. Bruce, it's been a pleasure. All the best to you. He will be sorely missed. And staying focused right to the bitter end.
The penalties to Anaheim's number 62, Patrick Maroon. And the Oilers number 5, Mark Fraser.
So the 5-minute majors to
Time 14
Fraser
minutes,
and
1
Maroon
second.
with just over 5 minutes remaining
The
here in the
Ducks
second
early
period.
Maroon.
There's Oscar Klefbom in his own zone. Boyd Gordon trying to chop it ahead. Devontae Smith-Pelly tying it up for the Ducks. Now it's loose. And out comes Edmonton. Flipped ahead and Anton Lander to the attack. Schultz has jumped up and Winnick read the play and deflected the pass. He intended for the defenseman Schultz jumping in. Now Vatanen goes to the attack as he weaves through into the Oilers zone. Stopped up there and puck played out to center. Brian Allen will shovel it in on the back. Left bomb to his defensive partner Schultz. Up ahead, look out as Raquel was lurking and nearly stole that. Compared Raquel in just his 16th game, but looks like he's got a future with the Ducks, doesn't he?
It's a good thing it was Rickard Raquel and not somebody who might want to hit him, because Justin Schultz just put Nugent Hopkins in a very dangerous spot. Slow pass up the middle. Nugent Hopkins has to hang in there to receive it, and if it was someone more inclined to finish a check instead of poking the puck off, Nugent Hopkins could have been in trouble right there, reaching out for it. And he bails out of the play as Raquel gets there a step late. Some of that's on the forward to getting in a better position. Some of that's on the defenseman not to give him that pass.
Nugent Hopkins wave. Beverly in. Raquel wins the faceoff. Tampa's Lindholm throws it toward the net. Off the stick of Fost. Centering pass, and it rolls into the blue paint and is covered by Fost.
One of the most notable players for the Ducks tonight, Andrew Cogliano, who's having a career year. And look at his numbers, has not missed a game since the start of his career. 536 consecutive games. And that is some pretty exclusive company. Of course, Doug Jarvis, 964 with the record. Not the biggest guy, certainly durable.
40th point of the season tonight as his first 20-goal campaign. Started his career in Edmonton with back-to-back 18-goal seasons, but a personal best this year. Here's Silverberg across, looking for Cogliano. And that's an icing call against the Ducks. 4:20 left here in period number 2.
And make no mistake, staying healthy is a skill. Sure, there is some luck involved, and guys can have some bad breaks, no pun intended, and miss time, but being able to play year after year and for the coach to count on you game after game is incredibly valuable. And something the coaches know they can pencil him in there every single night, and he's got to be good to go.
Gagne on this draw, and Raquel prevails again. Ducks have an even strength goal tonight. They are plus 51, 5-on-5. The Oilers have a power play goal, a shorthanded goal. When they are 5-on-5, they are minus 50. So there's the difference between these two teams. There it gets left, putting it in front, and it rolled off the stick of Perry just wide of the net. Now Devontae Smith-Pelly in front as Perry fires it, and that's off the logo of Fost, who holds on.
And the Edmonton Oilers, I'm getting a little worried about Corey Perry because he is getting all around the front of the net, and eventually he's going to find a way to get one. And again, you hear him call him Getzy. Getzy, you hear the name, he wants it there. Driving the net, gets inside position on Petrie, and then a team pass. That's again a missed rotation by Sam Gagne. Don't know where you're running to on that one. He's fortunate the puck gets tipped on this pass, otherwise Perry would have had a much better chance there.
Perry with 4 goals this season against the Oilers. 2 in the last game. Pulls it down, sends it toward the net. There's Getzlaf, couldn't handle the bouncing puck. Perry charging in again, looking for it. And the Oilers finally get control, and now Hall. Klefbom had jumped up, and now it's Schultz in deep. Defenseman eager to go. Schultz is in behind the net. Everly trying to come out in front. It's loose. Scores! Justin Schultz! Well, those Oiler defensemen weren't shy, were they?
They are leading the rush. Schultz and Klefbom looking for a 3-on-2. Schultz actually hangs in there the whole time and then pounces on that loose puck as Jonas Hiller loses sight of it. Nice play by Jordan Eberle. Pull it off the wall, take it to the net, active feet, get it to the far side, and Jonas Hiller just cannot find it. And most defensemen, they start that play there, they're going to bail on it and get back to the blue line, but that's not who Justin Schultz is. He'll hang right in there and tucks it in the open side.
Number 11 for Schultz, who was the 21st defenseman in the NHL this year to hit double digits in goals. Eberle and Hall get the assists, so both are on 4-game point streaks.
Of course, Justin Schultz could have signed with Anaheim coming out of college, but elected to opt the free agent route and chose the Oilers as the place he wanted to start his career over Anaheim.
The Oilers goal scored by Schultz.
So 3 goals in this second period for Edmonton after giving up the opening goal of the game in the first period. They had a 2-goal lead in their last meeting in Anaheim, and the Ducks roared back with 3 in the third to win it. Puck played outside the line, and Boyd Gordon sidestepped the check and back in his own zone. Here's Klefbom to the red line. He'll drop it in. Gordon will arrive first with Lander. Lander's centering pass off a skate. Hendricks went to the net. Now it's sent deep, and Lander picks it up at the side of the goal. Tracked by Allen. Centered for Gordon, who just missed taking a high stick. Now Boyd Gordon's got it in the corner. Hendricks battling in behind the net. Working against Raquel. Gordon in after it, but Botman knocked it loose. And the unfinished defenseman headmans to Raquel. Ricard Raquel over the line. That's off Klefbom. Cogliano follows. Klefbom reached to cut off that pass intended for Raquel. Off the skate to Nugent Hopkins, stays in. Here's Raquel looking for his first NHL goal. Robidas shot, and that deflects wide. Raquel in the corner, warded off a check. It comes back to Robidas and Beauchemin. Francois Beauchemin shot knocked down. Nugent Hopkins trying to get it out, and does bounce it to center. Under 90 seconds remaining in the period. Perry with a good run at Schultz. Out comes Nugent Hopkins over the line. Taylor Hall shot, rebound, and got past Nugent Hopkins at the point. Sent across for Petrie. His shot gets right on. Steered to the corner by Jonas Hiller. Perry with an outlet. Lindholm gets it out to center, and here come the Ducks. On shot into the glove of Fost, and he'll hold on with Ben Lovejoy moving in.
Big goal for the Edmonton Oilers. Justin Schultz get that 2-goal lead here late in the second period. And there he is, keeping the cycle alive. Doesn't blow out of the zone on the play, but hangs in there, and then Eberle gets inside position on Robidas. Beauchemin comes in to help out on Eberle, and that leaves Justin Schultz wide open for the rebound. And in a game that was important for Jonas Hiller, he's given up 3 and hasn't looked particularly good in doing so. So the question marks will remain. Does John Gibson get the game tomorrow night? Kevin Anderson, he comes back, if he starts taking the starts again, heading to the playoffs. It's amazing a team as good as Anaheim has some question marks in net.
Anderson could be back as early as that game Wednesday, the Ducks believe.
Shea Weber took another couple 2 on his hit list. Anderson put the puck in the head, slapper. And he also broke Tim Jackman's hand with a shot block. So 2 Ducks went down against Nashville due to Shea Weber and that big slapper.
And there's John Gibson, World Junior star.
And a very highly thought of prospect. Pretty good numbers down in the minors. 2.34 goals against, .919 save percentage. And he's just a matter of time, and he's being patient with it. But he may get his moment sooner than later. It could very well come in Anaheim's next game.
Talking about Weber, there was an interesting discussion about Ryan Getzlaf out there killing penalties against Shea Weber. It's dangerous stuff too. You don't want to lose your top guy with a broken foot.
Amazing it's that dangerous. You're thinking about to protect your players. Don't let them get out there to block shots against him.
9 seconds of this second period. It's been a good one for the Oilers. Klefbom will steer it into the corner, but with the touch of the puck, it's going to be a penalty against Edmonton, and the Ducks will start the third period on the power play.
57 Edmonton, 2 minutes interference.
And it's David Perron's second penalty of the period.
Bad one to take so late in the period. No real reason to do it. Just stepping in front of him there. You got plenty of support underneath and trying to hold up on Maroon. Let him go, let the clock run out. Better clock awareness. And no penalty to be taken.
So one last face-off in this second period, won by Boyd Gordon, and that will do it. Big period for the Oilers. Power play goal by Hall, short-handed by Perron, even strength for Schultz. 3-1 after 2. Here again, James Duthie. Well, James, the Oilers' record against Pacific Division opponents this year, 6-16-4. Obviously, Mike, an area they have tried to improve, and tonight showing a lot more bite in their game.
Well, so much talk about the Edmonton Oilers. Are they big enough? Are they strong enough? Are they tough enough to compete with the best teams in the Western Conference? There's lots of different ways to be physical, and their part is getting in on hits, winning battles, and puck support, and they've done a very good job of that. Another part of it is working to create offense. It's not always going to be easy, and it's not always going to be pretty. You got to grind out in front of the net. They've been good at that, and of course there's the other side of with the fights. There was 3 in the second period, and they did well in all of them, and got some momentum and didn't let the Ducks take any momentum back. Again, another area of toughness in which they performed very well. But maybe most importantly, getting pucks to the front of the net, winning some battles around the front of the net, both in their own end in the offensive end, to create their goals and give themselves a 3-1 lead. So across the board, they've answered the bell and answered the question as to whether they're tough enough to compete with the Ducks.
But they do have a third period ahead. They could not protect a 2-goal lead in the third period in Anaheim. And this big game for the Ducks, trying to move 3 up on San Jose and within 1 of St. Louis, the top seed in the Western Conference, but need a win to do all that in a rink where they are 11-0-1 in their last 12 visits.
Watch out for Perry and Getzlaf in this third period. I think they are a little itchy here to create some offense.
Lindholm leads them in. They are on the power play here with that late penalty to Perron in the second period. Oilers send it to the line. Getzlaf holds it over to Lindholm. Perry's in the slot. Maroon parks in front. Getzlaf scores! Ryan Getzlaf with a rocket through the Maroon screen. And just like that, it's a 1-goal lead.
How about that wrister from Ryan Getzlaf from the point? He's up there, 4 forwards, 1 defenseman, so you have to trust him to make good decisions, but also be able to keep pucks in at the blue line. And he is incredibly good at this with his stick, his reach in his hands right there. Takes it off the wall. Hendricks puts it along where he can get it, and then it's just drag it over, pull out of the way of Hendricks, and then rip it right on through. And does Corey Perry get a piece of this one right there on the way in, or does he get a piece of Foss on the way by? We'll have to take another look, but either way, that early power play, fresh ice, works perfectly for the Anaheim Ducks, get themselves right back in this game.
They're giving it to Perry.
Yeah. And he just floating around the middle of the slot there, nobody engaging him. And it's got to be some pretty good hands to pick it out of the air coming this fast. And right there gets a little piece. And that is what goal scorers do.
And in the
Checking out his work right now.
in the comeback in Anaheim last week, one of the 2 Perry goals on a deflection, so he has 42 on the year now.
And he's just so going to find that quiet area, opening himself up, and then absolutely good tip under the bar. Good shot by Getzlaf, better tip by Perry.
So Perry, 42nd of the year. Getzlaf and Lindholm draw the assists that make it a 3-2 game. There's Silverberg in the corner. In behind the net is Cogliano. Plays it back to Lovejoy. A one-timer right on, and Fost absorbs that.
The forward line on that power play all sitting beside me there during the last exchange. Corey Perry still right beside me, and he's getting a good look at who exactly he's going to get credit for this goal. Perry knows he got it, but Maroon, did they get a piece of him? No, it did not. Clean in, and so for Patty Maroon, as Corey Perry tells him, you got nothing, pal. It's all mine. The conversations that go on the bench.
Maroon figured after 2 fights he deserved a little consideration, but he does factor in as the man who screened it, although even without a screen, that
Yeah, no one was
Deft
saving
hand
that
eye
one.
for Perry, boy.
No. You knew it was coming. He was all around the net and creating chances. Just a matter of time before he got one.
Ducks go right back to work. There's a big hit by Hendricks on Robidas, who was a little slow to get up and collect himself after that. He's taken a number, now holds it in, sweeps it to the far side. Lander reaching to get it out, but it's held in by Beauchemin. Daniel Winnick behind the net, checked by Belov. But Fraser to the far side, can't catch up with that. Matthew Perreault for Palmieri, and that pass intercepted by Belov. The Oilers hemmed in right now, trying to get it out of their own zone. Haven't really got it into Anaheim ice in the first 2 minutes of this third period.
Part of learning how to close out games, play with the lead, is not just to sit back and defend, and it's not an easy lesson to learn whether you're young or old. The good teams can do it. The teams that are not quite as good struggle with it, and the Oilers are certainly in that category.
Ryan Smith now out with Gagne and Perron as Marincin back in his own zone. Fires it around, knocked down by Maroon. Perry and Getzlaf right back out there, so Maroon getting this third period with the big boys, and he's got the puck now. Centering it, and that pass cut off by Gagne, intended for Getzlaf, who was in behind. Now Gagne to the attack, he'll drop it off. David Perron fired it, and that was blocked by Brian Allen. The Kingston native hit the official behind the net. Mark Jeanette hits the deck. Puck kept in by Edmonton off the skeet of Allen. And now Perry will flick it out. Maroon involved in 2 fights in that second period, gets it down the ice. And here's Marincin playing it against the flow for Petrie. Taylor Hall gathers speed. Into the zone is Hall. Into the corner. Lovejoy had him lined up, and Hall was able to avoid the check. Now Smith-Pelly up the boards, moving up his Klefbom. He meets up with Smith-Pelly, and the puck went off the netting, I believe.
Yep.
Play is halted.
And no shortage of physical play in this game. Henry builds in Stefan Robidas there. Good check in the defensive zone, and even the referee's getting involved as Ryan Smith gets in on Mark Joannette. That's a kneeing penalty right there. Could be a clip as he slides in behind him, and Joannette was a little slow getting up.
From the face-off, a right wing pass for Smith-Pelly. A weak shot wide. Cogliano's on the far side. Now they've got Devontae Smith-Pelly, Bonino, and Cogliano together as Bruce Boudreau maybe shortening his bench. Hall to the attack, and that was busted up by Lindholm. Quick counter. Smith-Pelly over the line, but the Oilers get back in a hurry. And neatly feed it to Nugent-Hopkins. To the attack with Hall. They crisscross. Nugent-Hopkins a shot. Hiller didn't know he had it. And is able to close the pads and hold on. Dangerous shot by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who's been shooting more. And he had 13 shots on the trip.
When you can shoot it like that, why wouldn't you? And again, Jonas Hiller fighting the puck. He's got no idea where this one is. It's down between his legs. It's free, and Taylor Hall has every right and should go after that puck. Right there, trying to poke it through his legs as Hiller picks it up late, and in a good game for Nugent-Hopkins, that number 1 line, and the battle continues for Jonas Hiller as he's trying to regain the confidence he had earlier in the year.
4 shots for Nugent-Hopkins tonight against Hiller. He had 8 in the game in Anaheim. Each member of that line has points tonight. Hall a goal and an assist. Eberle and Nugent-Hopkins have helpers tonight. And that's 8 shots on goal for those 3 on the evening. Winnick wins a battle. Beauchemin sends it down low for Silverberg. He'll feed Robidas. Shot, and Acton blocked that. Broke the stick. He's got to go to the bench, and Robidas shot whistles wide of the net. Now it's chopped by Larson and out, and back down into the Anaheim zone as the 4th line for the Oilers heads off. Back out comes Gagne with Perron and Ryan Smith. Up it goes to David Perron over the line. He'll leave it for Gagne. Smith charging in, and Jonas Hiller will hold on to that. Gives us a chance to remind you, Scotiabank Wednesday Night Hockey brings you a doubleheader this week, where the Canadians head to Chicago to face the Blackhawks, and then it's the Kings and Flames. Live coverage gets underway on TSN, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Live streaming also available on tsn.ca and TSN Go. Canadians rolling. Chicago with an impressive win today against St. Louis and opened the door a little bit for Anaheim. That shot for the point got through on Hiller. And now Perry has it for Anaheim. Up for Ryan Getzlaf. Getzlaf with a move and nearly had Petrie beat. And a penalty coming up.
And Perry and Getzlaf, we've heard this before, continue their magic into the third period. Jeff Petrie gets caught reaching at the wrong time, but a skill play
Number 2 Edmonton, 2
by
minutes
both of
hooking.
them results in the Petrie penalty for hooking. Corey Perry picks up this pass. He has to wait to create the angle. He does let the defense fly by, and then Getzlaf pulls it through his feet right when Petrie is looking for the poke check and slides right on by him. We're going to start calling that movie the Hemsky because that's what he does every time on the one-on-one.
There's Getzlaf again firing from the right point. First power play goal for Anaheim this year against Edmonton. Now 1 for 21 against the Oilers. And looking for the equalizer here. Getzlaf neatly got it to Bonino. Now Lindholm sizes it up from the half boards in low for Maroon. Knocked off his stick by Marincin. Big Patrick Maroon one hands it to Perry. Gives it back to Maroon. Now Perry up high. There's Maroon. Bonino at the back door. Put in front of the net. And the Ducks come up with it. Maroon for Bonino. There's Getzlaf firing it again, and that was blocked by Gordon. Bonino reloads for Getzlaf. No shot. Lindholm. He'll put it to the side of the net in front, knocked away from Perry by Hendricks. Getzlaf fires it off the post. Rang it up, and a big stop by Foss on the rebound by Bonino. Getzlaf holds it in. Intense Duck pressure. With 50 seconds left in the power play. Lindholm in low, tracked by Fraser. Getzlaf up high. There's Bonino. His shot is blocked. Off Marincin, and it will ricochet out. And the Oilers trying to get a change. They get a couple fresh troops out as Lander comes out, and Acton knocked it away from Getzlaf. And Hiller out to do a little stick handling. Feeds Perry. Back to the attack. Stopped by Klefbom just inside the line. Deeper for Maroon with time ticking down on this penalty. And just a dozen seconds remaining in the Petrie infraction. Last call and a lead feed for Bolesky too far. And that's going to be an icing call against the Duck power play with 4 seconds remaining in the Petrie minor. And no shots registered. This one rang up off the post.
And the patience, though, to let Hendricks slide out of the shooting lane and then sling it on in. We saw him create a goal that same way. And then this one, diving in front, trying to get a block from Hendricks and Gordon selling out. And Getzlaf shows why he's so good manning the point on the power play with the patience, but also the ability to shoot the puck hard enough to be a threat.
85 points for Getzlaf on the season now. Oilers clear, but the penalty had expired, and that's an icing call against Edmonton.
A lot of pressure will be on Ryan Getzlaf and Corey Perry when they do get to the Stanley Cup playoffs, because systems, the tighter checking, and so much of the offense runs through those two guys, especially 5-on-5, that teams will game plan around them, focus their entire defensive system on trying to control their game. Have to find a way to produce.
Cogliano throws it in front, and that is scooped up by Fast off the deflection, and he'll hold on, but the Ducks are pushing here. They've got within one, and Corey Perry is on the prowl. He triggered the comeback last week. Can he do it again here in Edmonton tonight?
Unquestionably one of the better regular season coaches in the NHL. Look at the group of coaches he's with. 50-plus wins with 2 different franchises, and that is the who's who of coaching right now. Of course, the top list, Scotty Bowman, Mike Keenan down the way, but has not had the same kind of success in the playoffs. And just like there'll be lots of pressure on Perry and Getzlaf, there'll also be lots of pressure on Bruce Boudreau to devise a game plan that will win in the playoffs, and he hasn't done it a ton in Washington or here in Anaheim. So with home ice and possibly a division title, they'll have to certainly get at least to the first round and likely the second.
Pinizzotto on the ice for the Oilers, on a line with Boyd Gordon and Anton Lander. And here's Gordon to work. Pinizzotto catching up on the right wing, but Lander was in ahead of the play, offside.
It's a bit of a trial right here for Anton Lander. Might be a tipping point for him. What kind of player is he going to be, and where is he going to be that kind of player? Is he good enough to be an offensive guy at the NHL level? He's getting a good long look at the tail end of this season. He's got to show them something that he can produce, or he'll have to redefine himself as a bottom six guy and just a checker.
Offensive player in the American League, but without a goal in 49 games coming into tonight at the NHL level. Past the 8-minute mark here in the third period. Ducks with a first-minute power play goal to close within one. A pass for Hendricks too far, and it's sent back in by Robidas. Fast unable to stop it up. Winnick on the forecheck. Acton finds it for the Oilers. He meets up with Beauchemin, and now an alley-oop pass at center. It comes down, and Smith-Pelly was there for Anaheim. Took a bump from Larson, but Larson looked like he got the worst of that. Getzlaf over the boards, and you know number 10 is right behind him. Getzlaf swings wide. Perry through the middle. Back to the point, Lovejoy. Fakes, and now a shot. Taylor Hall was down and blocked it. And now it's sent by Fraser out, and Eberle was tripped up at center, and that goes undetected. Back in for Perry, redirects. Bolesky in front, and unable to cash in. Close call there, as the Ducks nearly scored after what Oiler fans were anticipating would be a penalty. And the top line has it again. Getzlaf bumped off the puck by Hall. Good play by Hall in the defensive zone. Is Lindholm, and Eberle bumps him. Perry ahead, and here's Lovejoy stepping up. Bolesky over the line, gives it back to Lovejoy on the backhand. He'll swivel it to the side of the net. Perry a whack at it. Oilers send it around the boards, and it comes out. Allen will drift it back in as they tag up, and in fact that top line heads off, and out comes Matthew Perreault. Through center, Gagne and David Perron. Now with Ryan Smith. Can't get past Vatanen. In behind the net, Sammy Vatanen taking it away from Perron, who nearly got it back. Maroon closed down there by Petrie. Ryan Smith comes up with it. Good hold of the zone by Jeff Petrie. Around it comes to the near side. Marincin steps up. Drops it for Gagne, who covers. He'll wind and fire, and that one off a leg. Patrick Maroon out and neatly played by Perreault to Palmieri. Marincin on him. Knocks Palmieri down, and Petrie there. Up for Perron. Beauchemin stepped up, but it played past him back into the Duck zone. Pace starting to quicken here. Past the midway mark of the third period. Here comes Silverberg, the former Ottawa Senator. Just gives it away as Cogliano joins his line mates, and a pass for Lander doesn't work. Sent ahead where Raquel unable to hook up with Cogliano. And striding down that right side is Schultz. His goal, the difference right now. Goals in back-to-back games for Justin Schultz of the Oilers. Cogliano in his own zone. Too far for Raquel. Schultz with a goal and an assist in this game. Left bomb. That pass doesn't work. Slides down in behind Jonas Hiller. Robidas off the boards. Bolesky now at center. Turning away from Eberle. Pass onto the far side, and Hall leaves it for Eberle. Little alley-oop for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. What a brilliant pass. Nugent-Hopkins across, and Eberle just couldn't catch up with it. Boy, that nearly was highlight reel material. A shot by Marincin drifts wide. Getzlaf in his own zone. Bolesky ahead, and Lovejoy back to the attack. Here's Lovejoy trying to lean in on Marincin. Getzlaf behind the net in front. Bolesky missed it. Lindholm at the point. His shot blocked by Hall. And Taylor Hall's got it. The three Oilers busting through center. Hall down the ice. Stick snaps in his hands, and he was showing his frustration and ended up colliding with Eberle. Back the other way is Corey Perry trying to get around Mark Fraser. Centering it off the skate and nearly in. And Winnick unable to cash that as Kloss came across. Close call. Winnick's got it again behind the net. Sends it to the point. Getzlaf looks in front, and that deflects away from the front of the net with Perry lurking around the Oiler net again. He's got it there. Tried a little give and go play, but the puck did not come back to him. Winnick, Bonino, Perry in the blue paint knocked down. Vatanen at the right point trying to sift it through. Belov up the boards, but knocked down there. Bonino ties him up. Winnick's got it. Knocked off his stick by Fraser. It'll come back to Vatanen and Allen. But it was a through on goal and off the side of the net. And that was an anxious moment for Victor Faust as the Ducks turn up the heat.
Keep talking about the growth and progression of Taylor Hall, and some of that is his ability to play some better defense. Gets in the right spot, even though that's not the prettiest block, takes in the back of the leg. This is a better one, comes in, gets to Getzlaf's right side as Getzlaf's about to shoot it. Another block shot, cues up a odd man rush opportunity. Now the only thing he needs to realize is that his stick is probably broken from blocking that shot. Then he slings it on into net, but that is some good stuff in his own end from Taylor Hall. Something that he is working to get better at.
27th goal, 49th assist, a couple of block shots. A good night for Taylor Hall, but work to be done here with just under 7 minutes to go as the Oilers try and protect this 3-2 lead. This is the longest point streak by a visiting team in the NHL. Anaheim 11-0-1. Here's Perron circling. Nice move, and now threw it across, and that nearly caromed in. The Ducks 11-0-1 streak, the longest since the Philadelphia Flyers went 11-0-1 in Los Angeles back in the late 70s, 78 to 1984. So they have had regular success here, but have to come back tonight to keep that alive. That's up and out of play, and we'll check back in with James.
Tyson Barrie not involved in more late game heroics for the Colorado Avalanche. Seems like every time they're tying up one late or winning a game in overtime, it's off the stick of Tyson Barrie.
Abs the next opponent for the Oilers on Tuesday. They currently have the longest active win streak in the league. Boy, that's been a remarkable season for Patrick Roy and company. And everybody anticipating Colorado-Chicago could be quite a first-round series.
Tough break for the Avs to have lost Matt Duchene, most likely for that series, though.
And Taves and Keane both expected to be back for the Blackhawks. But they just keep rolling.
Yep.
Here's Gordon. Anton Lander working in the corner. Back to Gordon and snaps that shot from a bad angle. Petrie winds and fires. And right on Hiller, who covers with traffic in front. There's the difference in the game with 5:36 to play. The performer of the game is brought to you by GMC Sierra.
And it goes to Taylor Hall, who is doing it all once again for the Edmonton Oilers, as he has all season long, leading them offensively. Got a goal, he's got an assist. Been involved physically, some good defensive plays as well, which will make the coaching staff happy. They expect the offense to come, but it's really the other parts of the game that are really starting to develop for Taylor Hall, and another solid effort for him and this number one line.
Number one lines both out there. The Getzlaf unit for Anaheim. Nugent Hopkins trio for the Oilers. Here's Hall trying to barge in, and Eberle tapped it wide. Eberle's fallen one behind in the Oiler team goal scoring race after Perron and Hall scored tonight. Corey Perry ahead. Top goal scorer for the Ducks is on the board once again. They move it inside the line, and Eberle trying to get it out. And does off Vatanen and somebody at the Oiler bench to halt play.
And it's been another stat-stuffing kind of night for Taylor Hall. See the 2 points, couple blocks. Andrew Cogliano certainly has enjoyed his return trip to Edmonton, and Justin Schultz keeps on producing as he's got 11 now on the year. And Corey Perry has also been a consistent threat throughout.
That shot by Robidas got through and right on. And the Oilers bounce it down the ice. It won't be enough for icing, and Robidas has to dash back with Lander on him. Stefan Robidas has fired 6 shots tonight off that right point. Daniel Winnick in after it. Klefbom gets there first. It deflects to Smith-Pelly. Bonino working off Gordon and putting it to the net where Fost holds on. And you know Victor Fost is trying to shut the door here to atone for last week and post that first win against his old team.
It'll be a good test for Victor Fost and the Edmonton Oilers. 4.5 minutes to go here. They know they're going to play in their own end. For most of that time, the Anaheim Ducks will make their push, and it'll be on Victor Fost to make all the saves he needs to direct traffic in front of him, but also for his team. Learn how to close a game out without it getting too crazy towards the end.
Saw that stat again. The Oilers with 6 wins in the Pacific. Ducks are 19-3-3. That shot whistles wide of the net. Perry from the corner. Near side for Getzlaf, off a leg and out, and Ryan Smith goes to work down in the Anaheim zone. Up against that rookie defenseman. Letting it in behind the net. The centering pass is intercepted by Hampus Lindholm. Up on the right wing for Perry. Over the line and past Marincin. What a piece of work, and Maroon got a shot on goal. What a slick play that was by Perry to create a scoring chance. Now Perron picks it up. Here's Perron, solo mission as they are changing in behind him, and he comes up with a puck. And now he's got help. Holes in front. Perron hangs on, back to Schultz, holds and fires it, and that hit a leg and went to the corner. Getzlaf will regroup. And now a stretch pass for Perry, who was lurking at the line. The play is offside.
Perry and Getzlaf threat every time one-on-one here. Drags it through Marincin, slides down to Maroon. Maroon should kick this right back. Look at Perry stick right on the ice. He wants it for the give and go. Maroon in good scoring position, but he just has the touch to slide it back to Corey Perry. He's got the wide open net to slide it in.
Marincin at 22.5 minutes tonight. Klefbom up to center. Hall tried to swing it in deep. Bounced back to him and taken off his stick by Cogliano. Knocked away by Klefbom. Tied up by Perreault, and to the attack is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. He's got Schultz down that right side. He was all alone in front, and it arrived a little late. Now they got to get on their horse and get back. Justin Schultz playing the rover position here with a 1-goal lead. But it's been effective at times tonight.
I guess a leopard can't change his spots. I mean, when the opportunity's there, but it's not only the fact that he jumps in the rush, which is fine. You have the puck, you're under control. Don't play scared, don't play defense. Go be aggressive attack. But it's his willingness to hang in there late. It worked on his goal, but it's a 3-on-2 here. He should jump in. Got all kinds of time, but then he doesn't back out. He still hangs in there looking for a little more. And then that's when Eberle joins and you have 4 guys below the top of the circles, and things can be dangerous.
Under 3 to go here in the third. Bonino over the line. There's a Bolesky shot, and Fost, little bobble in the glove before he secures it. And Bolesky showing you right there the wounds of that battle earlier in the game.
Yeah, Bruce Boudreau has been shuffling the deck, especially here in this third period. He has a lot of interchangeable parts. Bolesky can play center, Bonino can play center, and so when he has 5 centermen in the lineup, he just picks who he thinks is going, and when he shortens the bench, he just makes whatever unit he wants.
On the boards it goes. Bonino holds it in, knocked down in front by Klefbom, and he'll stride out. Right wing pass, chipped through for Gordon. Boyd Gordon puts the brakes on, a backhand, and Miller held the short side. Hendricks takes down a man behind the net, and Vatanen thought there should have been a penalty call on the play as Pinizzotto drips it back in on Hiller. Now the Ducks work their way out. Lindholm, right side Perry, trying to flick it in past Marincin. And the Oilers send it right back out. Edmonton trying to win the first of this final 4-game homestand to end the season. And play is stopped. Gives us a chance to remind you The quest for the iconic green jacket returns. The Masters begins with a par 3 contest Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific. Coverage also available on tsn.ca or download the TSN Go app. TSN's comprehensive coverage presented by CI Investments.
We had the clubhouse leader here in Edmonton for a while, Nail Yakupov, but Ovechkin still in the course. Looking for that green jacket. Worst plus minus in the league.
Yeah, it's a little more iconic on the golf course.
Well, we pull one out in the dressing room every time at the end of the year, though, to make the guy wear it, whoever's worse than the team.
Here's Eberle, Nugent Hopkins, back to Eberle. On the backhand, now in front, and the shot went wide with Hall providing a screen in front of Jonas Hiller. Up for Getzlaf, under 90 seconds to go. Getzlaf, who helped engineer the lone goal of this period. Upended by Hall, but stayed on the puck, and now the extra attacker is out. Off the bench came Palmieri. Lindholm, Boschman, Getzlaf into the slot, off the stick of Petrie, and out of play with 1:11 to go.
Hiller on the bench, and I'm trying to tie this up because they want the points. Look where they are right now, battling to hold off San Jose, who they play on Wednesday. This is one of their games in hand, and potentially looking to get within one of St. Louis if you can get all the way through to the conference finals. They'd be looking at home ice in that if they happen to meet St. Louis. So still plenty to play for the Anaheim Ducks. Nothing for the Edmonton Oilers other than some confidence and good feelings heading into the summer. And the Ducks take their time out, give their big guys a rest and try to diagram the goal creating play.
Can't take these points for granted. Dallas found that out today.
Yeah.
As the Stars were upended by Florida. Ducks have outshot the Oilers 35-27 on the night. Matthew Perreault will take the faceoff. And Boyd Gordon for Edmonton.
Watch how low Boyd Gordon will get on this faceoff.
Oilers have won 55% of the draws, but Perry wins this one for Anaheim. In behind the net, holds on, knocked off his stick, but back it comes to Vatanen at the point. Getzlaf back there engineering things. Final minute, regulation time. Oilers trying to hold on. Sami Vatanen again sends it off the backboard. They chop at it, and the glove got down onto the puck in the blue paint by Fost. And took a chop or two and gets out of the traffic area.
Good patience and poise for the Ducks up top. Eventually Vatanen can't get it through with a shot, so he puts it off the Detroit Red Wing Karam on the back wall and just try to outnumber and outmuscle the Oilers in front. And Voss has to make a pretty good save there on Palmieri, who stuffed one into his pad.
Once again, Perreault dueling with Gordon. And the puck ends up in possession of the Ducks once again. That's a good second effort after Gordon did his job, but didn't get the support. Banked around to the far side, race for it, chance to clear, and it is rolled down the ice. There's Eberle going after it. No icing on the play. And Eberle trying to kill some time in the corner. Getzlaf wanted to get a call on Eberle putting his hand on it. Puck came loose, and now he's got to go to work. Overskates it. Eberle scores! And there's a three-way logjam for the league, or the team scoring lead. Number 27 for Jordan Eberle.
And that's a great angle. But again, look at, it's Taylor Hall neutral zone. Quick stick, he'll pick up another point on that play. And Jordan Eberle just knows where he is, knows where the net is. There's the turnover created by Hall. Quick backhand. Doesn't even check to see where the net is. It puts it right inside the post and secures the victory for the Edmonton Oilers. And the race is on. Hall with 27, Perreault with 27, and Jordan Eberle with 27 for the Edmonton Oilers on the year.
Third goal against Anaheim this year, and the Edmonton Oilers are finally going to end that skid against Anaheim at home. They did win an overtime game earlier on a shot by Andrew Ferris, but this will be the first time in 13 meetings at Rexall that they have beaten the Ducks in regulation time.
Scored by Eberle. The assist Hall at 19:46.
Well, in a season of disappointment, this is one of those wins they can point to as some progress. Pretty good effort tonight, Mike Johnson, by the Edmonton Oilers in a win. They get goals from Hall, Perron, Schultz, and Eberle into an open net and hold on for a 4-2 victory over the Ducks of Anaheim. The final score 4-2 Edmonton. So long from Rexall. Coming up, Sports Center with the pride of Edmonton, Natasha Staniszewski.